share your precious memories. Right now, Steamatic have installed this amazing piece of equipment. We call her Rosie, and Rosie is the largest document freeze dryer in the Southern Hemisphere. Watch this video to find out more about restoring waterlogged and water damaged documents back to almost new.
Okay, so you've arrived at work Monday morning to find you've had a flood in your office. Your documents are all wet. What are you going to do? You're going to call Steamatic. And from that first phone call, Steamatic will take care of your documents. Arriving on site, Steamatic will assess the situation, pack all your documents into Steamatic archive boxes and return them back to our plant for storage. We keep the documents in cold storage back at Steamatic at a temperature of -21. -21 has been determined as the best temperature to store wet documents, as the ice crystals are gentle on the paper. Anything colder than that, it becomes too brittle and can cause damage. Once in cold storage, we can hold these documents indefinitely, as no further damage will occur to the documents. This allows you time to assess the situation, go over what you have, find out what you want to restore, what you feel necessary to be returned to the company, and those that you feel can be NS. Once we have authorization to proceed with the freeze drying of your documents, they're taken from cold storage and taken to our freeze dryer. Our freeze drying capacity is one of the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. Once we've removed your documents from cold storage, we take them to the freeze dryer. Once entered in the freeze dryer chamber, the chamber is closed and a vacuum is created inside, bringing the vacuum down to 1.5 millibar. Once a vacuum has been reduced below 6 to 1.5 millibar, a liquid can't exist in this chamber. We then introduce energy in the form of heat. The documents try to melt. They can't do that because they're in the vacuum. They then off gas or sublimate. Through the process of sublimation, the ice is then formed on condensing coils at the bottom of the chamber. So the documents go through this process of sublimation, which means they don't get wet again, which causes no damage to the document. Once the process is finished, normally in around 8 days, the chamber is opened, the documents are removed and are able to be returned to you in a pre-loss condition. This process is unique to Steamatic, as it is a new technology we have introduced into the restoration industry. So if you've had a water damage and your documents are all wet, call Steamatic and we'll take care of it for you.
It becomes gas. It's very, very unstable, and it recognises a nice cool spot down here in the condensers, and it will go straight back to the solid sitting on here. So at the end of the process, it's going to be like a lump of ice. So we've just taken the moisture out of there and put it down there.
Okay, once we've put all the modules into Rosie, we then test that we've actually got all our switches connected on all the modules. We do this by just doing a quick test, and the lights come up and they show us that all our modules are connected and that we will be operating once we close the doors. This also indicates the weight of each module, and that is the weight of it frozen as it comes into the machine. As we go through the process, this weight will go down and it will come down, not all the way because we still have weight of the paper in the box, but the weight difference will differ from what it was when it was first put in the machine. So basically, as it goes through the process, as the water gets removed from the paper, the weight will go down.
Okay, so we've gone from the loading process, we're now going into the drying process. What happens now is you have a series of valves that close the vacuum chamber off, and we now will find the condenser here, which you filmed before with the condenser coils inside the chamber. This is a refrigerant unit. This is actually bringing the temperature of the coils down. It'll bring it down to about -39 degrees. Okay? Now as other valves close off and isolate the chamber, the vacuum pump will kick in. That starts to draw all the air out of the chamber, bringing it down as a vacuum. It'll drop it down under 6 millibars, down to as low as 0.15 millibars. after itself then. It's all wireless access control from the laptop, so you can keep track on it, watch the graphs, watch what she's doing while you're not on site. Everything else takes care of itself. It's fully automated, and the process will now take up to 8 days. And whilst all this is in progress, once it goes through the cycle of 8 days, we then I'll go into the defrost mode of the unit. These recovery tanks here, there's 10,000 litres of water in here. It sits around 50 degrees Celsius. Once the process is finished, we dump 10,000 litres of warm water into the bottom of the tank. That defrosts all your condenser coils. Once that's done, we drain it all back in, so we recycle the water. We don't just waste 10,000 litres of water. It's recovered at the end of every cycle. It goes through here. Then it's put through a UV cycle to kill any bugs or any bacteria that's in the water. So then we can use this again. So we're always recycling the water.
Well, that means that if you've ever gone through a flood or any type of water damage and you've lost your documents, you'll know how much that would have hurt. Right now, we've got the technology to actually restore documents to almost new. Now, the actual restoration of those documents depends on you. If you are in a flood or have any water damage, get your documents into a freezer as soon as possible or call Steamatic to actually find out what to do.